Hey everybody, I'm Nina Soden, urban fantasy author of the Sector C series and the Blood Angel series. And today I am so excited because I have Wesley Martin here with me. And he is the author of the Fallen Trilogy and a writer of fantasy novels and a lover of his black lab, Willow. I love that he puts the lab before the family. He's also quite fond of his wife, Stephanie, and their 4 daughters. Yes, I said 4 daughters. He is in a house of all women. The stories he writes are inspired by his children. They are the first and the last line of defense in regards to ensuring that his readers are certain to enjoy his works, and trust me, they are good at that. He enjoys writing about female heroes because his daughters are his heroes, which I love. If that doesn't warm your heart, I don't know what will. But these books definitely will get you. All right, so Wesley, tell me about your trilogy. What is it? Give me the elevator pitch.
It's about a series of beings that live in a realm tandem with our own and in tandem with others. They're apart from us, but also their lives kind of coalesce with our own. They live in worlds called havens, which are basically various sized cities, towns, municipalities, whatever they would be, that they're actually in where we would live, but a realm apart. So the beings have totems, which are animals represented out of the 5 classes of animals. You have the Terran, which is the land mammal, and their gem is an emerald. You have the Avior, which is the like the bird kingdom, and theirs is like sapphire. And then you have Seacorn, which is the insect and the bugs, and their gem is the ruby. And then you have Sarpon, which is the reptiles and amphibians, and their gem is the diamond. And then you have Arceus, which is the sea and water creatures, and their precious stone is the pearl. And each of these totems, these animals, they choose the being. The beings are called kindreds. But when they take the trials to see if they're even worthy to join the ranks of the kindred, it feels like they're choosing the totem, but they're not. The totem chooses them, and not everyone who takes the trials passes and gets to become kindred.
What happens if they don't pass?
They are sent to Earth to live out the remainder of their lives as humans with no knowledge or recollection of what they were born into.
Okay. So tell us about our lead character that takes us through the trilogy.
Her name is Maggie Bennett, and she is raised as a human. She has no idea that she is this superhuman being from a race of superhuman beings. She's what they call a legacy, and it's a very rare occurrence. And there's one more that joins at the academy, but a legacy is it's a kindred who was born from parents from divergent clans. Usually when the kindred, when they have children, it's because you have, 2 people come together from the same clan. It's very rare to have divergent clans have offspring. And so she's inherently more power than even the ones who've grown up knowing what they were, knowing that, one day they would get to take these trials. And so she's just kind of thrown into it.
So why doesn't she know what she is? Why is she, go to this place and is completely surprised by what she is and what has happened to her?
Well, her parents, it seems, have, gone missing, and she didn't want to be a part of the system. And so she runs away, and she doesn't understand it. but there is this inexorable pull that brings her toward her destiny. And she doesn't understand that there are powers at play greater than herself, greater than her understanding. And so she just finds her way into what she assumes is just a quaint town with like a, early to mid 1950s, flair to it almost. And she doesn't realize that she finds her way into this world where humans, there's no way they could enter this town, the Haven.
Okay. So it almost has this feel of Harry Potter, how the world is kind of there and you can enter it, but only they can enter it. It has that similar magical feel to it. Have you gotten that before?
I have. I've had a couple people tell me that they feel like there are some things that are very reminiscent of the Wizarding World series. They feel there are things that are reminiscent of Tolkien's world. I tried my best to bring in bits and pieces of all of the fantasy out there, whether it's high fantasy like Tolkien, whether it's mid to low fantasy like the Wizarding World. I tried my best to bring in all of the wonder that we get out of reading those types of books, and try to put a little bit of a different spin on it. I can't recreate the wheel, but I can try my best to add my own little spin, no pun intended, to that wheel.
Well, I think that you definitely did do that. So tell me who created your covers, because these are beautiful. Look at this. That's just gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Her name, I'm sorry, I didn't lose you, did I?
No, well, you popped away for a second, but you're
I'm so
back.
sorry. Her name's Anka Gabriella. She's from Denmark. She is ridiculously talented. She's super, super kind. I can tell her all kinds of crazy things, what I'm looking for. I cannot wait. I finished, book 3 is completely finished, and it should be available very soon. But I cannot wait to show everybody the cover, because the cover really does show and answer something that happened at the end of book 2. And I'm really excited for everybody to see it. She really did a phenomenal job. She's a wonderful artist.
Now, how did you find her?
Honest to goodness, I was just, it was like a site called DeviantArt. And I was just looking for different artists that I felt had that certain, je ne sais quoi that I needed or that I wanted to represent the stories that I was trying to put together for my girls. And I saw some of her stuff, and it was out of this world. Literally. I mean, it was so good. And, some of it was, I don't know how to explain it. It seemed to fit the bill of what I was looking for. And there are tons of incredibly talented artists on DeviantArt. If they're aspiring authors that are watching your show right now, if they're looking, that's a wonderful place to look. And usually the artists on there are very, very chill, and they really want to work and please the writer. So that's a great relationship.
That's awesome. I will definitely have to check that out. What is your writing process like? Now, I know from meeting you and talking with you that this was a story that you were doing for your kids, almost like a bedtime story, right?
Yeah, that's how it started, was a bedtime story. My process, it's haphazard at best. I've said it too many times to count. There's no real, for me, I mean, a lot of people can perhaps set a time and sit down and do the thing and bang it out and get what they need. Me, I wish it was as simple as that, or perhaps flipping a switch. To me, it's like almost I mean, something has to inspire me. Like, I don't know, and it sounds kind of silly, but sometimes, a fragrance in the air. Sometimes I'll eat something and it'll trigger something, or sometimes I'll hear a sound, or somebody will say something that I find, well, ever what I find it, and it'll inspire me. And when I'm inspired and I'm in that moment, I can write, I mean, uninterrupted. I can write for 10, 12 hours. It's just not a problem. I can just go. But if it's not there, it's like trying to squeeze blood from a stone. I just cannot turn it on and off like that. It comes to me in waves.
Okay. So,
but I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I mean, of course there are points to the story. I always have these pertinent points that I want to hit because they're integral to moving the story. But I try to give the characters in my mind, I try to give them the benefit of living out the life that I'm trying to give them the bullet points to hit. I want it to be as natural as it can be. I don't want it to seem forced when these characters are interacting. So I try my best to do it as almost voyeuristically. I try my best to kind of sit back and I'm watching these people do these things. And sometimes they don't want to do what I need them to do,
Oh, no, I know. Believe me.
I know you know.
I know. So your writing process is more organic. You let it come to you.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how long it takes you to write your book. Your first book. Read it.
First one.
I read it it took me a weekend. I mean, super fast. And then I had to get the second one, and it took me a while to get the second one. I finally got that, and it feels like ages since I have been waiting for the third one.
Yes, well, thank you so much.
So when you said that it was done, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this interview, and then I'm gonna go pick up the book. But you're telling me I can't do that. You're basically saying I can't do that yet.
It should be available by Thanksgiving everywhere. So that's the plan. So
Thanksgiving's my birthday. So that's fantastic.
That's wonderful. I love giving birthday presents.
See,
it's a win.
There you go. Tell me how long it took you to write each of the books from concept to publication.
Okay. Concept to publication for book one. Book one, which is strange, was the hardest, because you know what it's like as a writer when you're world building. You're laying down the foundations of the world you're trying to give to people. So the process of truly creating something from nothing took longer in the first book than the other two, but I was able to complete the first book writing it once I started going. Probably in about 9 months, I was able to move through it for me relatively quickly.
Yep.
The second one took about 12 months. Okay. And those last 3 months, I was certain were going to kill me.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah, and but then now this last book has taken me close to a year and a half to finish. There was some it's just been one of those years. A lot of things come up, familially, and you just kind of you're a slave to your own life, and sometimes it's hard to get back to it. But once I finally could get there, and then I think a lot of it too was the the anxiety of really bringing this portion of the tale from my children. Yeah, there was that anxiety to it, but I will tell you that when I read them the end, I got a standing ovation from my daughters. So that made everything worth it. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that made me feel really good. So,
well, I am so glad to hear that, because that had to feel amazing, because they're your target audience. I mean, above anything else, they're the ones you're writing it for. So they're your target audience. And the great thing about your books, I feel, is that they can be for a younger generation. They're easy to read. It's not confusing. The story flows and it's fun. so that younger generation, that middle school, can really get into it and dive into it and kind of get lost in it. But for me, who's not that generation, I could still get lost into it in this fantasy world from an adult perspective and look at it and be like, wow, this is a really different, interesting take. And it pulls in so much of the different fantasy that I've read before and the movies that we've seen before. But it does it in such a way that a kid can relate to it and adults can relate to it. And that to me is a really, that's a feat. That is something you've definitely accomplished that not all authors accomplish.
Thank you, Nina. That's very kind. Thank you.
And trust me, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have read book 2. And I wouldn't be impatiently waiting for book 3. So, yeah. But now, okay, with this done and almost on the shelves, completed, what is next?
Well, I was talking with my very, very, very dear friend Russ, who is my editor. I was talking with him, and I let slip, so I guess I'll go ahead and tell you too.
Ooh.
I'm going to take a very, very, very short hiatus. Not long, just enough to let my brain, re-solidify.
Like
and
a
then
week.
I'm going. yeah, a week. And I'm going to do a prequel that takes place way in the past, but it's going to, I do a lot of foreshadowing, so it's going to answer questions that perhaps may linger. I try my best not to leave anything open, but I do want to leave some things open to interpretation, because I believe the reader's imagination is what, carries the heart of the story. So, but I'm certainly going to do a prequel.
So when you say way in the future, are we talking her parents, her grandparents, or are we not talking her family line at all? Oh, you're not going to tell me. I won't tell anyone.
Yeah. Okay. It takes place way in the back.
So I am glad to see at least that the world is not ending. We're going to get to see a little bit more of the world even after book 3.
Yes. And after the prequel, I plan on doing a sequel far flung in the future. But again, I'm not real sure if any of the characters that we've come to love
will be in it.
Yeah, because I don't know who all may or may not survive this one.
That's so mean.
Well, I mean, I know, but
so mean. I know you know. So mean. But no, it's very exciting. I do have some books on my to-read list that I need to get through before Thanksgiving then. Done. Because Thanksgiving Day, I will be getting, ordering my copy or getting a copy. I will definitely be getting a copy.
Yes, you will.
So I'm very excited about reading that. And I don't think I'm going to be able to just sit on that like I do some of my other to-reads. That's okay. All right. So tell me, now that we've talked a little bit about that, what is your publishing process like? I know that you are a self-published author, like myself. Why did you decide to go that route instead of submitting and doing the traditional route?
Oh, very easy to answer that. I like being in control of my stuff. Every single decision that I make is mine to make. The only thing, and I would put this out there for any other writers that feel that, I mean, first off, I mean, you really do kind of have to know what you're doing, but to those that do, but they are kind of turned off by the process and the effete snobbery of it all, I would tell them, honest to goodness, if you want to be in control of your own destiny, that's the way to do it. Save for an advance. And of course, everybody likes the promise of an advance, but I mean, to me, you can't put a figure on your creation, your baby. You are the God of worlds when you create this stuff, and to have the people that can't try to tell you how to do it just eats me up. So I was just, I know, and this sounds facetious, and I apologize. I know that I'm not the best, but I'm certainly not the worst, and I can't give up that right to create.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's even in the traditionally published, even in the bestsellers, the ones that have sold millions of copies, not all readers love them. I mean, there is a reader for every author. There's a reader for every book. And if you find that reader, if you find that group of readers, you will have readers for life. Mm-hmm. And definitely, I think that yours are right in line with the fantasy books out there that are on the top 10, that are up there and selling millions. And I think that if you found the right readers, you would definitely have readers for life.
Thank you.
I'm very pleased to have discovered your books and been able to read them. So I'm very excited about the next one. I'm going to just keep putting that out there and saying that. And if anybody is watching this that likes fantasy, even if you don't, if you like to explore new authors, you definitely have to check out his books. There will be links in the description below so that you can pick them up, because I highly, highly, highly recommend them. Read them before Thanksgiving so that you can then jump right in and get the third one. You don't want to have to wait like I did. It's cruel. It's very cruel. Okay, so tell me, we've talked a little bit about your publishing process. We've talked about where your stories come from and what you plan to do next. But what I would like to find out a little bit more is why fantasy? Like, who inspires you? Who do you read? Who do you if they have a new book on the shelf and you know nothing about it, who will you pick up no matter what?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, Andrzej Sapkowski is, to me, he's brilliant. Tolkien, of course. I'm a fan of C.S. Lewis's stuff. He was a brilliant writer. Neil Gaiman is brilliant. He's so brilliant. And oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, so many of them are so talented in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. R.A. Salvatore is so great. I just love the promise of being taken away to someplace that is not mundane, like where we are, and yep. And I've read some different stuff. I mean, I've read all kinds of stuff, but I mean, to me, it just always kind of comes back to fantasy, and that's just kind of where I feel comfortable in that. I can, I don't know. I really enjoy the make
believe.
Yes, it's such a fun thing to because see, I wish I could draw and paint and stuff like that, and I just can't. I couldn't draw a straight line, but with my mind,
you do.
I can read the words that some of these authors put down, and it's just like it's like it's drawing in my mind, and it's so beautiful, and it's just it's an art that I can take in, and yeah. I enjoy that.
It's a very personal art because it's different for everybody.
Yes, and I think that is the beauty of well-written words is mm-hmm. that we all see the same thing in print, but we don't all see the same thing up here, and that's beautiful to me.
Absolutely. So if you could see your books in a movie form, mm-hmm. who would you want to play Maggie Bennett? Do you picture her?
I do. One of I won't say names just because the character herself is she's not old enough, like she's under 18. So, But
Okay.
one of my daughter's very good friends is, to me, the way that I guess you could be seen. Or are you talking about like a professional actress? I don't really watch a whole lot of TV, so I probably couldn't give you an actress that's, I don't know,
But you
relevant
do
right now.
But you do envision your daughter's friend as that character when you think
Oh,
about her?
certainly,
That's
certainly.
interesting.
And the boys, the characters on a lot, they're all pretty, and perhaps not one character is one person. I think it's fair to say that each character, the boys and the girls, they're all, well, except for the characters given the names of my daughters, they're based completely on the personality and look of my daughters. But I think all the other characters, the kids, I think they're pretty much an amalgamation, because all of my kids' friends they're all wonderful kids, but they're all wonderful in different ways, and so it's easy to kind of pick a piece of one of them over here and one of them over here, and kind of put them together in this character and make it unique like that. So
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, who would you want to direct it?
I'd say, honest to goodness, Taika Waititi. I think he is absolutely one of the most brilliant directors that I have, flat out, ever seen. Everything he does, in my personal opinion, is a home run. His sense of humor, to me, is just, it's so zany. It's second to none. To me, he's brilliant. I think he's absolutely brilliant.
All right. Very cool. Is there anything that we haven't talked about yet about your books or about your process that you would like viewers to know?
Just that I appreciate them, I really do. Just, it's nice that, my income is derived from, people purchasing the books. That's kind of the icing on the cake. But the honest to goodness, and I mean this, I truly, truly, deeply mean this. If I never made a single penny, I would still be as happy as I am now, just knowing that something that I have created could bring anybody a modicum of happiness, just a simple escape from their everyday lives. And if they took anything from that and said, man, I enjoyed that book, this time that I spent in this world, it wasn't wasted time. This was a good escape for me. To me, that's everything. I'm very, very thankful and very, very grateful for my fans or anybody that would like it. They don't even have to be fans. Anybody that could take anything from my work and enjoy it, I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. So I like to end each of my interviews with an honor to James Lipton and the Inside the Actor Studio. So I do the James Lipton 10 questions. Have you heard of these?
Vaguely.
Okay. So the key is just, you disappeared again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Where do you keep going? There you are. They don't want to see just me. Okay. So the key is that you just answer what comes to mind as soon as you hear the question. Don't think about it. There's no wrong answer. Don't overthink this. Okay? Okay. What is your favorite word?
It's aspire.
What is your least favorite word?
Fart. Just because my kids say it all the time.
Okay. What turns you on?
Intelligence.
What turns you off?
Stupidity.
What sound or noise do you love?
Birds.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Lawnmowers.
What is your favorite curse word?
You know what? I'm an equal opportunist. I love them all.
That's good. Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I always wanted to be a fighter pilot, but I'm terrified of heights. So,
All right. What profession would you not like to do?
oh gosh, probably septic system work.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Whew. Didn't think you was gonna make it.
That's great. Okay. All right, everybody. That is Wesley Martin. And I hope that you will pick up his books. Comment below. They are fantastic. Comment below if you're going to buy them, if you already have read them, or if you plan to read them. And until next time, that is all I got for you. Thank you so much for joining me today and for doing this interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Nina. Appreciate you too.
And that book better be on the shelf by Thanksgiving.
Yes, it will.
Just saying. Okay.
Yes.